Hello everyone, and welcome to a player preview of a pro player visiting for the Minneapolis Open 2026, June 5th through 7th. We're very excited to be welcoming Ivan Excender Soriano Quispe, 22-year-old IM from Peru. With that, although I want to introduce my coach, FIDE Master Ojasva Singh. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello everyone, myself Ojasva. I'm from India. I'm 21 years old and I'm an FM with 2 IM norms. Today I've joined you guys to analyze one of Ivan's games, one of his wins against a grandmaster from Brazil, wherein he basically outplayed the GM. Maybe we'll just delve into the game right away.
Perfect.
So the game started with 1e4 and it was French defense from black side. And I would say let's just move on to their first critical point of the game, wherein black played f6 on the 6th move, and white basically ignored the move, which has now been a trend in some of the French variations, wherein they're sacrificing a pawn in order to get lead in development, and then you make use of the weak king. We can see how. Let's say I just played castle in the game, f takes e5 was played, knight takes e5, and black opted for the move bishop d6. Now what would have happened if black would have captured the knight? White can just take it back, queen takes, and we reach this position, wherein the basic difference is the difference between king's positions. White's king is pretty much safe and sound, whereas black's king is still sitting in the center with all these undeveloped pieces, and white will make use of that fact. Bringing in with the rook, threatening bishop b5, maybe bishop h5, you need to move away with your queen. And let's say you just move away with your queen back to c7. White can continue with bishop h5, provoking g6, and then just coming back bishop f3. Bishop h5, the main idea is just to weaken the dark squares. You're provoking g6, and anyways white wanted to go bishop f3, so just included a check in between. And now there are the same issues as I mentioned. The king is in between, white is threatening to take this pawn either with the bishop or even with the queen, and it's difficult to parry with all these threats, because if you want to somehow save this pawn, you have to either go bishop e7, knight e7. All these pieces are still hindering with the development, and white would be super happy to develop something like bishop g5, bishop f6, and it looks terrible for black, more or less. So let's get back to the game. So black played bishop d6 here. Yeah, you have something?
Those dark squares were looking extremely weak in that variation.
Let's get back there. So let's say knight takes e5 here, and point being, let's say I'm threatening to take this pawn right now, and if black just thinks that I'll develop a knight on e7 defending this pawn and my bishop on g7, so I'll continue with bishop g5, and now I'm threatening to play bishop f6 and maybe bishop takes e7 as well if you are careless with moves like bishop g7. I'll just take here and then I'll take here. So looks bad.
Yeah,
really bad.
So he's looking like he's going to be a fierce attacker so far, sacking a pawn against Grandmaster. Fearless.
Yeah, that's true. Not exactly an attacker, because this is more of a positional sacrifice wherein you really want to outplay your opponent. And you would see his other ideas in later part of the game as well. Like completely outplaying the GM from the start. But as of here, the Grandmaster did not take the pawn. He played bishop d6. A normal good move, because now actually you have to take this move seriously. You cannot be careless from white as well. You cannot take pieces on c6 because you have to be watchful of this h2 pawn here. So knight f3 was the move that was played. Knight f6, bishop g5, short castles, knight bd2, some normal development. Though I was considering knight e4 here, maybe not so great right now, because anyways, let's say if white goes bishop h4, short castles, then after knight bd2, black has to do something about the knight, and white is maybe happy. happy to exchange. Takes and okay, it's fine. The next move, white could just go bishop g3 if necessary. And this e6 pawn would be a long-term weakness. This is the point where white wants to create his game.
Yeah, I'm also seeing that just exposed king side and just a lot of black's forces on the queen side kind of far away from potentially
that
helping
is
out.
also true. Yeah, even actually white also wants to get in bishop d3, right? Like whenever this f7 pawn shifts to e6 or some other square, this h7 pawn becomes a target, and as soon as it moves, these light squares on g6, h7, everywhere, those are the ones that white would try to exploit. That's the normal basic idea whenever in whatever opening this f7 pawn moves. So yeah, you're right. This king side would become a target eventually. So yeah, bishop g5, short castles, knight d2, and herein black actually chose a very I don't know if we should say interesting, but okay, some weird plan. So they took, and then okay, black played h6. I personally don't like this move for the same reasons as I mentioned. Whenever you don't have a pawn on f7, moves like h6 actually weaken these light squares. A square on g6, white somehow wants to get in some piece there, mostly the knight, and then okay, the knight has access to all the surrounding squares to this king and also to the center. It can always come back to e5, f4 somewhere. But okay, this was not all from black side. After h6, bishop h4, the main idea behind h6 was black wanted to go g5 and g4. Now why g5, g4? To just kick this knight and take this pawn. That was black's idea all along. But I think according to my chess philosophy, we should never compromise with king safety just for one single pawn, let's say. Because somehow if you'll see, white's knight is already eyeing that weak g6 square. This bishop is coming in with g4. I don't think we should just talk about weak light squares right now. It's like weak king side in general. There's nothing to defend there, right? Knight takes d4 happened. White took the pawn. And black basically wanted to get hold of the center, but even the center is not stable. Like takes, rook e1. Right now attacking this pawn, you cannot push the pawn. Otherwise, okay, that pawn will also be captured. This knight on d4 is hanging. You can never play moves like e4, I would say. I think there are moves like knight takes e4 here. So obviously you cannot ever move these pawns. So these are kind of central hanging pawns. Both the pawns are slight weak. Rook e8 was played and then knight f3 again. Hitting the knight, hitting the pawn. And black is more than uncomfortable, I would say. If you take, white actually has two options. White can take with the knight, white can take with the queen, and both moves should be serious considerations for white. Why? Because okay, if you take with the knight, you're hitting this pawn and you're like, okay, let me pressurize black more. And if you take with the queen, it's slightly more dynamic. You're hitting this knight, you're getting knight f5. Maybe this is what I would play. Looks more dynamic. And I don't see black getting any chances here. So black just played knight c6. Black tried to stay solid, but okay, black had to face the reality, right? Like, okay, what is to be done about these squares? G6, f5, this knight sitting closer to this king, queen might join in soon. So white played queen d2, hitting that pawn, and king g7, and actually white could have played queen c2 earlier as well. That would also have been a good move, but I feel that okay, this was actually a smart way from Ivan to lure the king to g7, and somehow you're threatening even more things, right? Like let's say if we would have played queen c2 here, this would have been a good move, but with not as many ideas. You're threatening maybe queen g6, and yeah, more or less that's it. But once you have lured the king to g7 and somehow you're threatening queen g6 as well as knight f5 check. And there are tactics all over once again. And black was already in trouble. Black did not know how to respond to it. Black played knight e4 just to just to stop knight f5 for a while. Okay, maybe most of players' instincts would tell them to capture this knight. Same goes for me. And this would have been an interesting choice, but I think uh, as good as it looks, maybe it's not so easy to continue from white. Like, okay, all the pieces look great, the knight's jumping in, but I feel the king is pretty safe on h8 now. Also, the queen has come for its defense. Rook might join in later on. It
Yeah.
doesn't look that easy, right?
So the fact that he didn't go for that shows, he's a serious calculator. This is a classical game, and he's not playing on vibes. He's
Yes, exactly.
playing on concrete variations. So it's always a little bit scarier. Face that.
True. I completely agree with that. And actually, White made a pretty smart choice. White just played knight d2, and whatever we wanted to do, we are still doing it, but without sacrificing the exchange.
Yeah.
So knight d2 looks like a slightly passive move, but okay, that's not the case. We have got the same exact idea as what we were getting after rook takes e4. Basically, we want to get in knight f5 with some force. So white is forcing black to move this knight so that white would get in knight f5. And that was it. This was pretty much the end of the game. Why? Because, okay, black just took here, and instead of taking on d2, white played knight f5 check, and okay, it's all over. Because, okay, black just sacrificed the queen, but even if black did not play this, let's suppose black just moved its king away somewhere, white would have captured the bishop, not the knight on d2, and now it's a fork. And at the end of it, white would have an extra rook. Let's say queen d7, you just take here, he'll take here, and then you'll take. You will take here, and yeah, it's over. White has one extra rook.
I think that's a really powerful kind of attacking idea where don't fixate on just checkmating the opponent's king, even though the king looks like it's about to get checkmated. Like, if you can win a full piece and fork, and a lot of times, maybe the opponent is so fixated on not getting checkmated, they just end up, dropping bishop d6, something like that.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, as of this moment, I would say knight takes d2 was kind of surrender, because maybe there are more than one ways to win this. You can go queen g6 check as well. The basic idea is, let's say king h8, I'll take here, I'll give another check. You can never go to f8, I would say, because okay, you are losing each and every piece with a check. And then again, I'll come back to h6 and then pick up this knight. But white did not opt for this because obviously black would just not go to f8. And maximum you would just get this knight back. So yeah, but everything is winning. But knight f5 is the most clinical way to finish off the game. It's like asking black to resign, though black did not, but okay, after a few moves, we'll just show the end of the game. After a few moves, it was all over. So again, just notice this bishop h4. A small cute move just to stop rook d8 from ever coming in. And black is still phased about it. And some, okay, queen here and there, and somehow this queen got the shelter on h3, but okay, it was over. Exchange this rook as well, exchange everything, and then, yeah, done.
Well, great, and you finished it off with some endgame technique, so, that was pretty impressive game overall.
It was slightly shaky, but yeah, he actually played this game brilliantly. Completely outplayed the Grandmaster from the start till the end, so everyone has to watch out for this player.
You could see he was seeing his opponent's ideas too, just shutting down any counterplays. So, those slow rolling attacks where you just shut down your opponent's defensive ideas are brutal to face from the defensive side. I feel like you don't even have a chance to mix it up. So I was really impressed by knight d2 there, showing some patience, and also, just playing principled chess and taking advantage of maybe an overambitious opponent with his G5, G4 idea. So
Exactly. White easily exploited those bad moves, those inaccurate ideas, or let's say over-ambitious ideas that were played by the Grandmaster. H6, G5, G4 was completely unacceptable, and actually he showed that okay, you cannot take me lightly by playing these stupid, dumb ideas. I'm here to punish you, and he actually punished the Grandmaster.
yeah, and I also like how it was just an outclass from beginning to finish of a Grandmaster who you'd probably expect the opposite to happen, where it wasn't just the Grandmaster outplayed him and it was a sudden blunder at the end. This was really a clean outclass beginning to end, and shows he can really play at GM strength. I mean, maybe in this case the GM played a little below GM strength, but that's he didn't get GM for no reason. So
Yep, that's true. That's true. It was a pretty clean game,
well,
and
thank
yeah,
you.
that is pretty much from my side.
Well, great analysis. Thank you so much for showing us a preview of one of our visiting International Masters games against the Grandmaster. I'm going to throw the flyer back up on the screen here for a second. So everyone in Minneapolis, if you want to get a chance to play Ivan in the Minneapolis Open, he's playing the 3-day section. He's playing the Blitz tournament. So make sure you get registered and get a chance to play this interesting visiting player who's coming to Minnesota in June. And thanks again, Ojasova. Appreciate the analysis.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me as well. And yeah, come to Minneapolis Open, play against this guy, face him, and all the best to everyone.
Thank you.